Ever wondered what it looks like when a former executive trades spreadsheets for sliding tandems and decides to spend his Sunday afternoon hauling freight through the deer capital of Georgia? Welcome to A Day in the Lane, the maybe daily vlog where I, midlife trucker Tom Bell, document life on the road so you don't have to. And yes, I said maybe daily because I've learned that batching these things keeps me ahead of the chaos, or at least slightly less behind. So as the footage starts rolling here, you'll notice we're leaving Shady Dale and cruising through Jasper County. Yes, the official deer capital of Georgia. Not just a slogan on a hat either. They've got a full festival with vendors, food, antler-themed crafts, and enough deer memorabilia to make you wonder if you should start paying property tax to a buck. Out here, the deer population is so thick they practically have home field advantage. The fall leaves are putting on a show. Reds, oranges, yellows. Like the trees all got the memo that I'm filming a new series and decided to be supportive. Now these two-lane state highways, if you live out in the country, you already know this warm-up routine. Tight curves, blind hills, and locals who will absolutely pull out in front of you doing 30 miles per hour because they've lived here since the Civil War, and apparently the concept of a fully loaded 18-wheeler is still new. Or on the other end of the spectrum, they're chomping at your rear bumper wanting to go 70 and a 55 like they're late for the NASCAR finals. This is the calm before the storm part of the day, just me, the open road, and the occasional deer staring at me like I'm the one trespassing. While we're rolling through all this scenery, let me break down why today even matters. This Sunday is what I call a setup day. It's not always this way. Some weeks you're thrown straight into the deep end, but today is about positioning. No deliveries, no receivers telling me they get big trucks in that little dock all the time, and no forklifts auditioning for America's Got Talent by trying to defy gravity. Today is about getting myself in the right spot so Monday can be as productive as possible while I knock out this multi-stop load. Truck drivers don't have good weeks by luck. We create them. Out here we manage shippers, receivers, dispatch, weather, traffic, the clocks, and most importantly ourselves. A good setup day makes the rest of the week feel like you actually know what you're doing. Next stop is the Greer Terminal. Since I went home last week with a forklift riding in the trailer like it was my emotional support animal, this load gets dropped here. As I roll in, stop and engage that yard move mode, I don't really need to save drive time, but it's consistency. Greer is one of those terminals that on a weekend is full of trucks. Why? Well, because most Cheeseman drivers out of the Greer Terminal are home on weekends instead of on the road. This is where I turned in last week's paperwork because nothing screams life on the open road like a quick moment of administrative excellence. Then I'm parking this trailer in a warehouse door, which always feels like threading a needle while the needle is also judging your technique. After that, it's time to go hunt down my next loaded trailer. Sometimes it's right where the system says it is, and sometimes it's playing hide and seek behind a row of 53-footers like it doesn't want to go to work on Monday either. But today, I found it without much fuss, got backed under it, hooked everything up, did the pre-trip inspection, and headed over to the scale. Once the weight looks good, because nothing ruins your day like crossing a scale with tandems slid like a toddler assembled them, I point the truck back south and get rolling. Tomorrow kicks off in Dalton, Georgia, which is pretty much the carpet capital of America. If you've ever stepped on carpet in your life, odds are someone in Dalton touched it, rolled it, manufactured it, or yelled at a forklift driver about it. So that's stop number one, bright and early in the morning. Once I'm rolling back south on I-85, the sun starts dropping right in front of the truck, giving me that dramatic golden hour lighting that makes it look like I planned this whole shot. You'll see that giant ball of fire sinking lower on the horizon, turning the sky into this blend of oranges and pinks like nature decided to audition for a color grading tutorial. It's one of the few times in trucking where the road actually helps the mood instead of raising your blood pressure. This part of the day is what I call the mental reset. The miles get quieter, the traffic settles down a bit, and I can map out tomorrow's run without 400 distractions trying to climb into my mirrors. Dalton first, then the next city, then the next stop. Lining up the miles, timing the deliveries, and making sure everything falls exactly where it needs to. This is where the real strategy happens, because trucking isn't just driving. It's planning, timing, anticipating, and adjusting long before the problems show up. And yes, even now I'm already thinking ahead to where I'll park tomorrow night. Not stressing about it, just planning. Because I'm that guy who always finds parking. It's not luck, it's not magic. It's managing yourself, staying 3 moves ahead, and letting everyone else panic at 6 p.m. while you're already backed in somewhere without breaking a sweat. That's the beauty of a good setup day. It makes everything that comes after feel smooth, predictable, and almost easy. And now, Atlanta. Rolling in at about 6:30 on a Sunday evening. And look, I know what you're thinking. Tom, that's the magic hour. That's when traffic is calm, civilized, and almost pleasant. And to that I say, bless your heart, Atlanta traffic is like a Waffle House. It never closes, it never sleeps, and something questionable is always happening in at least one lane. As I'm sliding through here, you'll see the rain starting up, just enough to activate the Georgia Special. The driver who thinks slick roads are the perfect time to test the limits of their 12-year-old Altima. Meanwhile, I'm over here just minding my business, trying to keep 75 feet of truck and trailer behaving like a responsible adult. You know, Atlanta has a history with traffic. This city burned down in 1864, rebuilt itself, and ever since then has been in a state of constant construction. I swear, they've been working on the same section of I-285 since the road was built, and every time they finish a project, someone finds a new lane to tear up like it's a hobby. Here's a fun fact for you while we cruise. Spaghetti Junction, that giant tangle of ramps, was once ranked the most congested interchange in the entire country. And honestly, that checks out. Whoever designed it must have had a childhood Lego collection consisting only of leftover pieces. I remember my first time driving through here. As a brand new driver, I thought I was prepared. I wasn't. I merged onto the downtown connector and immediately questioned my life choices. Trucks everywhere, cars cutting across 5 lanes to get to a Chick-fil-A exit, GPS screaming at me like it wanted custody of the kids. And that was on a Tuesday morning. Compared to that, tonight is practically a spa day. But all in all, for Atlanta, this is smooth sailing. Traffic's moving, the rain isn't too bad, and nobody's thrown a surprise construction cone in my lane yet for this city. That's a win. After 6.7 hours of driving and 373 miles, it's time to wrap up the day at the Flying J in Resaca, Georgia. Now, if you've watched my channel for more than 5 minutes, you already know I'm the guy who always finds parking tonight is no different. This place has around 200 spots and 50 prime reserve spaces, which I accidentally rolled into at first because the markings were made by a toddler with chalk. But even with that little detour, I still had my pick of spaces at a decent hour. Once I'm parked, it's all about shutting down and cooking up some dinner and getting ready for tomorrow. After a solid 10-hour break, I'll be rested, recharged, and ready to hit Dalton first thing in the morning. And that wraps up today's episode of A Day in the Lane, Not a Bad Sunday Setup, rolling through the dear capital of Georgia, dropping a forklift in Greer, catching that golden hour stretch on I-85, cruising through Atlanta's finest evening entertainment, and landing a solid parking spot in Resaca. This is the real rhythm of life out here. Planning ahead, staying focused, and making the miles count so tomorrow runs smooth. Thanks for riding along with me. And if you're curious about this life or thinking about getting into it, stick around. There's a lot more to come. As always, make sure that you are enjoying every day at work.